Hey guys, today is June 9th, 2024. So this is my second video that I will be talking about June 12th. Although this video I will more laser focus just on the date of June 12th. So I'm going to recap a lot of my other video, take some things out, but I'm also adding some new information. So you don't need to watch the other one, you can just watch this one. But my decodes show that something very likely is going to happen on this date. And I believe that it will be a new virus called Pi, or a new variant of COVID, and also a tsunami, but just not any tsunami, a large mega tsunami, possibly. Like the one we had in 2004, or Fukushima, the one that hit there in Japan in 2011. And I'm going to go as far as to say now I believe it may possibly be the Cascadia subduction zone, which will cause a tsunami on the west coast and Japan. So that's sort of in line of what Jurassic Liars is talking about, although he does focus on June 11th. I watched his video today and he does show a lot of compelling decodes for June 11th, so maybe something will happen on that date, but I'm really focusing on June 12th. But anyways, we'll start talking about Pi. So when you look at the Greek alphabet, that's how they name the variants of COVID. They go in order, so they actually skipped over these two, the only two that they skipped over. But we now have the Omicron variant of COVID. The next one would be called Pi. So whether this is a new virus called Pi or a new variant called Pi, I'm not sure, but I believe whatever is going to happen, it's going to be called Pi. So these are images from the video I Pet Goat 2. If you haven't seen my other videos, you don't know what that is. It's an animated short made in 2012. George Bush was reading the book My Pet Goat, so it's sort of like the next 9/11. Although it has hidden symbolism pertaining to future events. It's already been proven and decoded. Several events have already happened that were hidden in this video. So we know it's legit. And right here, we do see the hidden Pi symbol and the teeth of this character, Baron Samedi. And we do have the lowercase similarity of the Pi symbol, as well in the eyebrow of George Bush. And this also does look like a wave, right? And this sort of looks like the number 5 and 7. But when you reverse this image, you clearly see the number 72. And while they're showing this, Bush says, "Fool me once." And so we did have an event this year on April Fool's. Right here, Bush is holding one finger with the dunce cap. D is the fourth letter, one finger, 4/1. We have the missile on the blackboard. And that's the date this year the Iranian general was killed, assassination by missile strike. And you can see it was 2/23 on the Chinese calendar. George Bush, representing the number of skull and bones, the secret society he is part of, and their number is 322. But anyways, I believe the 72 represents 72 days after April Fool's, because he does say "fool me once," showing this image. And 72 days after is 6/12. That's also 5/7 on the Chinese calendar, the numbers that you see in his eyebrows before the image is reversed. But what is 6/12? It's important to Bush because it also is his father's birthday, George H.W. Bush, born June 12, 1924. So both the father and the son are members of Skull and Bones secret society, formed in Yale. And guess what? We are currently in the 322nd year since Yale was founded, and we are also in the 223rd year since the White House was completed. So it very well would make sense for them to pull some large event this year, because it connects to Yale and the White House with a 322 connection on George H.W. Bush's birthday. Besides that, if you look at Barbara Bush, who died in 2018, April 17th, and you take that to June 12th, reversing the dates. Remember I said reversing just means switching the 6/12, putting it over here in the 4/17. With the end date included, you have 2,137 days, equaling the 322nd prime since Barbara Bush died, to 6/12. Now, speaking of pi and Bush, I found it very interesting as well that the famous actor and songwriter Kate Bush has a song called Pi. She actually sings the number to its 78th decimal place, and then from its 101st to its 137th decimal place. So the slide that I have here, the connections are way too numerous to be ignored. It cannot be a coincidence, because June 12th is the date that George Bush, H.W. Bush, signed the Bioterrorism Preparedness and Response Act of 2002. 2002, on his birthday, a day leaving 202 days remaining. Well, guess what? This year, it will be the 22nd anniversary since he signed this Bioterrorism Act. And it will also be, with the date included, 2,022 days after George H.W. Bush died. Also, 222 weeks after the COVID pandemic was declared. So another connection that we have are the granddaughters of George H.W. Bush and Barbara Bush. They are Jenna and Barbara, named after her grandmother, but they're also twins, and they will be 2,220 weeks. They're also 42 years old. Twin equals 42, and the word twins equals 22. Now, when we look at 9/11 to the COVID pandemic on 3/11, it was exactly 222 months. Now, more evidence that June 12th will have the emergence of the Pi variant or Pi virus, new virus, is the death of Mark Margolis. Well, he was one of the actors, main actors in the movie Pi, released in 1998. Well, his death last year on August 3rd, 2023 to June 12th this year is exactly 314 days, like 3.14 the number of pi. Now, this image in iPad Go definitely shows an event happening this year, because we are in the year of the green wooden dragon, 2024, as this states right here. But on the blackboard, we see the green dragon attacking the brain. And what do we see in the movie Pi? We see on the subway floor this brain that looks like it's hemorrhaging. It's actually a hallucination by the main character. And at the movie, he drills a hole into his head. So, more evidence that this will be affecting the brain splitting in the year of the green dragon, the movie Pi. Now, we also see something else splitting in iPad Go 2, and that's the apple. It's a metaphor for this right here, the brain splitting, as well as many other things. As I talked about before, it splits into two 8 shapes. But this is also, I believe, the sign of the infinity symbol. And I believe it relates to pi because pi contains an infinite amount of digits after the decimal point. Now here's another image from a video that Heliofont uploaded to the YouTube channel last year, June 26, 2023. It looked just like a random home video, right? But at the end, they focus on this building. Everyone was talking about it because we see the SOS in the building. But I believe this represents the Pi variant that's coming, or COVID variant or new virus, because Pi is the 16th letter of the alphabet. And also, this does look like a brain. The labyrinth resembles a brain. And this image, when you reverse it, we clearly see 202. Like June 12th, 202 days remaining in the year. And so just to go back to this image, as I said, this apple splitting is a metaphor for the split brain. And I believe this will coincide with a drop in Apple stock. And right here in the month of June is when I believe it will happen. From the Hierophant website, they show this, and it says, "And suddenly a startling realization arose in Lily. This apple is not mine, she thought. It belongs to someone else." So, a rose in Lily, and she has the rose in her hair. So they're attributing this to her releasing the apple, dropping the apple. And rose is the month of June, but rose is also the national flower of the United States. So as I said, I'm recapping a lot from the last video. And I said before, the South Korean president strangely sang the song American Pie at the state dinner. And this video and this image where the pie symbol is shown, Baron Samedi, he touches the tiger. And the tiger is the national animal of South Korea. And we do see from the movie The Life of Pi, the tiger. And when you take the date that he sang American Pie at the White House, that will be 413 days, or reverse 314, matching the number of pi, to June 12th. But it also matches June 16th, which is 9,111 days after the movie American Pie premiered. So June 16th in reverse to April 26th, the day that he sang this, is 314 days as well. So my thoughts on this are possibly the first case happening in South Korea, and maybe June 16th, the first case in the United States. Now right here is the character up close named Draco. Hierophant actually names this character Draco. And you can see the green scaly skin. And Draco means dragon, so the green dragon, right? But they also show at the beginning the green skin. And I believe Draco is the puppet master as well. But look what I Pet Goat 2. This looks like the pi symbol. But it also looks like the Gemini symbol, right? Gemini is twins, like the twin towers. And the pi symbol represents twin pillars, as it looks like. So in 2024, Gemini begins on May 21st and ends on June 20th. And the 2 also represents the second 9/11, when we do see a big 9/11 connection to the release date of I Pet Goat 2 in 2012. 11 years, 11 months, 19 days. So they're replaying the twin connection of 9/11, and as I said, the twin daughters of Laura and George Bush will be 2,220 weeks old on this date. And twins equals 22, and they are 42 years old, and twin equals 42. And this also relates to the coming tsunami that I'm going to talk about, which I believe will be twin tsunamis hitting Japan and the West Coast. So just to recap again, the 322 connection for June 4th with the World Health Organization. So I believe the emergence of the pi virus will be on June 12th, being publicly known, but they will trace it back to the first case being on June 4th, is what I believe. Because this is also the birthday of the character, the main character in the movie Pi. June 4th. July 2nd could also be important, just like the 72 in Bush's eyebrows, as it will be 6 years, 6 weeks, 6 days after the Clade X pandemic exercise. When we look back to the COVID pandemic being declared, it was 666 days apart from this Clade X pandemic exercise. Clade X, the 24th letter of the alphabet. We are in the year 2024, and if you've been paying attention, they've been talking about disease X since 2018. It's a hypothetical virus, X, the 24th letter. So now to recap again, June 12th will be 7,109 days, or the 911th prime, after the large 2004 tsunami that killed 250,000 people. So the deadliest tsunami since we've been alive. It's also 91 months and 1 day after we had the first National Tsunami Day on 11/5/2016. And the word mega tsunami equals 42, just like the 2004 tsunami. You add up the date, it equals 42, just like June 12th, 2024. It equals 42. And so the state of Washington is the 42nd state, matching the gematria of mega tsunami. So the split apple, as I said, it represents the split brain. Also the big apple, obviously, New York. And I do believe there is a big tsunami coming to New York. It could be June 12th, but I happen to think it's going to be a later date. But how does that relate to Washington? Well, guess what? The state that produces the most apples by far in the United States is the state of Washington. So we definitely can connect the apple to the state of Washington. It produces 62% of all the apples from the United States. Now, what would cause a tsunami on the West Coast? It would be from this Cascadia fault line. So back on January 26th in 1700, that was the last time that they said a large earthquake occurred on this fault line, causing a large tsunami on the West Coast as well as Japan. And that date, 126, does resemble 612. Same numbers, just rearranged. And this is the 324th year since that happened in the year 1700. Well, guess what June 12th is? It happens to be day 3 in the 24th week. So right here, day 3, 24th week, but this method of calculation isn't 24 weeks and 3 days. It means, so as January 1st, it would be day 1 of week 1, So day 3 it could be starting or ending the 24th week, but we're in the 24th week in day 3. So just like last time, if this event happens, there would be twin tsunamis, one to hit the West Coast and one to hit Japan. And we also have triple 11s on the Mayan calendar, representing the twin connection again. And when we look at August 6, 1945, we also had a triple 11 connection on the Mayan calendar. And this was the date that they dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan. So every 19 years, we have a triple 11 connection on the Mayan calendar. Or so, between 19 and 20, something like that. So that's all the information that I have for this video. It's hard for me to believe that I'm completely off on this. There's other dates in the past that I thought something would happen and it didn't, but it seems like what I showed you guys is really, really compelling, and I knew it was just a matter of time before I was going to be spot on. I've been on predicting some small events, but it gets overlooked because, everybody pays attention to the huge events, but they're so far and few between, such as like a 9/11, the 2004 tsunami, COVID, so far and few between. So we'll see what happens, and we're just a few days away. And I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.